Hey gang, this is Mike with my Real Estate Dojo, and today I have a very profound idea that I like to express to a lot of people. And when I say the idea, many people frown or they don't understand, and those are the replies I get. So I wanted to do a video to kind of explain what that means. The idea is called volunteer suffering, and let me define this before I go into the 3 reasons why if you do volunteer suffering, you're going to get your wings to reach your dreams. In other words, you need volunteer suffering to reach your goals, no matter what it is. If you want to be a better parent, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a bodybuilder, you want to be an entrepreneur, whatever. So there's 2 different ideas. Suffering is totally different than volunteer suffering. Suffering, let's say, is something that happens to you, and then you may have pain or you may have discomfort or something you don't want, okay? But volunteer suffering is something that you sign up yourself to go get the pain or get the discomfort. You volunteer your time, okay? And while going into this 3 ideas, just understand the difference between suffering. Is something that happens to you, you may not want it, you're trying to run away from it, you're trying to get away, it's a discomfort. The other one, you sign up, you actually run towards it. You're like, hell yeah, I'm gonna dive into this suffering, okay? So why do I say that you need volunteer suffering to reach your goal? The number 1 reason is that when you volunteer, when you sign yourself up, just like a bodybuilder, for example, or somebody that wants to lose weight, they actually sign themselves up to go to the gym. They allocate the time to go to the gym. They put the money into to go into the gym. But more importantly, they're willing to go in there day in, day out, work on those muscles, deal with the lactic acid that's being produced in the muscles, feel that burn, feel that discomfort, and then the next couple of days be sore, be discomfort. And so what am I saying with that? That when you volunteer to suffer for your goals and dreams, it's going to strengthen you, okay? It's going to make you like that bodybuilder. It's going to strengthen your muscles. It's going to give you health. It's going to give you fitness. It gives you a lot of values. The same thing happens if you're a doctor. Let's say you want to be a doctor. You basically have to go to high school. You got to go to college. Then you got to go to X. Then you got to go to Y. You have to volunteer and suffer a whole lot more than an average guy that just goes to high school or somebody that just gets their undergrad, okay? So to summarize point number 1, to get where you're trying to go, to hit your goals, you're going to need to volunteer to suffer. If it's going to the gym, or if it's being a real estate investor, or if you just want to be an entrepreneur, that's just part of the game, and you cannot shortcut that in any shape or fashion, okay? Point number 2, what I call volunteer suffering, is that it makes you very grateful, okay, and appreciate it. And what that does is it sends out this positive vibe out there into that infinite intelligence, and you're able to tap into this, let's say, supercomputer that has all this badass ideas, and it'll let you just tap into it, okay? And it'll give you insight. What do I mean by that? So let's say, you know, you have 2 cars, and you're driving your nice car, and you start thinking, oh man, I might need another car, this car's not that good. If you downgrade to your other car, then you may appreciate your nice car. Well, let's say if you only have 1 car and you're driving around and you're like, oh man, my car is not that good, then what you can do is downgrade, volunteer to suffer, start walking, ride the bicycle, take the bus. If you do that for just a couple of days, then you go back to your car and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, man, I have an awesome car. Okay, or another idea is like what I'm doing right now with volunteer suffering, is that I've given away all my clothes to the homeless people. I just have 3 pairs of clothes, and I just cycle through that through the week. I don't shower. I don't have the lights, and what I'm doing is I'm putting myself out there to be really appreciated for what I already have in life, which is extremely a lot. Okay, just being in America, having my arms and legs, you know, having running water, electricity, Starbucks. I mean, all these things that, you know, I might take for granted, and you may take for granted as well. When you go into that volunteer suffering, when you downshift, okay, you really start appreciating all the little things around your life. So a lot of times, if you're having a hard time in life, okay, whatever it is, okay, if you're not happy, or you think, you know, you're going into a hardship, or you hit a plateau, what you need to do is downshift, and then you're going to really appreciate what you already had and where you are in life. So it's a high recommendation. But the main point of downshifting is that you start being grateful. You start giving thanks for all the stuff that you have, which allows you to become positive, which allows you to tap into that intelligent, or whatever you want to call it. Now it gives you insight. And there's numerous people, from like Rumi, my favorite poet, Mark Twain. I mean, there's so many people that they say, hey, it's not them writing the book, it's the pen just moving by himself, because they even admitted that they tap into this ether, whatever you want to call it, okay? And I think the way to get that, you have to volunteer to suffer, okay, to have that. So that was point number 2, that it gives you gratitude. And point number 3 is that I really truly believe that to volunteer to suffer is part of the equation to getting success. It's not about how much money you have. I know so many people that borrowed money from, let's say, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, to start a business, and they went bankrupt, okay? I know so many people that, their brothers give them the money, or their parents give them the money to start a business, they lost it. I know people that I've read that won the lottery. So all these 3 people that I just mentioned, these 3 types of things, they didn't have to work for it, okay? They didn't have to suffer, and it was kind of like giving to them. They took the shortcut, and the end result was usually a failure, okay? Where if you put the last ingredient, which is volunteer suffering, that's the main ingredient for success. It doesn't matter if you're a martial artist, if you are a real estate investor, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be able to sacrifice what you want today to get what you want later. You have to be able to be in a discomfort situation. You have to leap without knowing what the fuck's gonna happen. You have to be able to take fucking risk and risk and risk. You have to fucking isolate yourself from all the other people. And when everybody's going left, you gotta go right. You gotta do all these things that's gonna make you look like, a loser, or a psycho, or you're crazy, or an outcast. But that's how you make money. That's how I was able to come to America as a refugee, and with $100 start 3 businesses. That's how I was able to buy houses for $1 as escrow money, and then just a couple of grand, wait 5, 6, 7 years, cash out, make $70,000, $80,000, which is just a couple of grand, dude. Okay. Now, that's not the normal way. Let me give you an example. A house that I'm selling right now, it's just so funny. An investor calls me, says, hey, I want to look at your house, and I'm an investor, and I always tell you guys, you need to get proof of funds. If they don't have proof of funds, don't even waste your time. So I told the guy, hey, I need proof of funds. After he was dancing back and forth a little bit, eventually he showed me his proof of funds. And the funny thing is, he calls himself an investor. He comes to my house with, a $100,000 car. The guy only had like $3,000 in his banking account into the savings, and he had a line of credit of roughly $150,000, okay? Home equity loan. So the point is, see, the guy doesn't even have 10, 20 grand saved up, dude. How is he gonna be a fucking investor? He's being an investor by using like steroids, borrowing debt. You're not gonna succeed like that, dude. You gotta at least have a way to earn some money, to build some capital, because by going through that hardship, it's gonna toughen you up. It's gonna make you smarter. It's gonna edge you out, dude. Without that, just by going out there, and you got only 4 grand into your banking account, but now you got a line of credit of 150, and you want to be an investor. I mean, that's a puzzle for disaster, dude. And I totally against that. Okay, guys, borrowing money is like pumping steroids in your ass, man. Anybody can get big, dude, if they're willing to do that. Anybody can go and leverage themselves like crazy. Anybody can start without having any fucking money, but it takes hard work, it takes systems, it takes education, it takes sacrifice, persistence to build that muscle, to build the skills for you to go out there and leverage yourself. So if you're just starting out, if you're gonna go out there and leverage yourself, you're just fucking yourself up. I know many people tell you, man, borrow on your credit card, get a home equity loan, X, Y, and Z, but I'm telling you, you're dancing with the devil if you're leveraging yourself. And I've learned that the hard way, not because I over leveraged myself, but I bought in the hype of growth and expansion and having more houses instead of what I really needed, because I think this time around when the market crashes, I'm only gonna buy houses cash, and that's it. I'm not gonna, leverage myself out, even though if I have the money. That doesn't make any more sense, and I think that's just the hype of what I've been taught, and reading the newspapers and going to the REI clubs, and where they're talking about get 100 properties and this and that, and I think that's great, but I think that leveraging, borrowing money is just a shortcut, and I don't think that's the best way to do it. I'm not gonna fuck with it again. I got fooled into it, but I'm not gonna get fooled ever again, okay? All I'm gonna buy is subject to deals where I put a few $1,000s in, no more than $2 or $3 grand, and all cash deals. That's it. Now guys, coming back to the story, volunteer suffering. If you look at anybody, a doctor, a fighter, UFC fighter, entrepreneur, whatever, real estate investor, the ones that are fucking good, they have to suffer. They don't just do it for a month or 2 or 3. They go in there day in, day out, day in, day out. They don't go to the games. They gotta suffer. And the ones that are not suffering, the ones that are not sacrificing, they're just mediocre. The ones that are all in, dude, they're like everything they got on it, those are the ones that are gonna win. I was watching for the first time a movie. I don't watch TV, I don't have none of that shit, and it was the McDonald's guy. And I don't know, something told me to watch the movie, and I pulled it up, and it was that guy. And so, what I learned from that guy, which is already I knew, I just reconfirmed it to myself, is that the willingness to suffer, dude. If you haven't watched that movie, go ahead and watch it, because it's very, very crucial. You can see that the guy has sacrificed his house. The guy was doing cold calling, knocking on doors. The guy has sacrificed so many things in his life, his money, everything, his name, his credit, everything to make it. And if you're not willing to suffer, the odds of you getting success, no matter if the bank gives you the money, your mama gives you money, your daddy gives you money, your friend gives you money, hard money lender gives you money, your odds are very slim, dude. It may be good when the economy's up, but trust me, it ain't gonna be good when it's coming down, guys. So go out there and hustle and bustle. Don't take no for an answer. If you like these videos, please like, please share, please comment. Thank you.